We have reached a point where perpetual anxiety is the assumed baseline of modern life. Fears of world war, the return of the military draft, and total societal collapse are no longer outliers. They are the constant, looping subtext of our daily reality. This state of emergency is managed by a surprisingly small, interconnected network. By looking at the overlaps in their social and financial circles, a specific pattern emerges: a uniparty, bound not by ideology, but by shared criminal charges and compromise. Yet, despite their influence, this ruling class possesses no inherent mystical power. If they were truly as dominant as they project, they wouldn't require such complex, multi-generational theater to maintain their positions. Without an organic source of power, these elites are entirely dependent on the energy of the masses. They require your belief, all your attention, and your fear to give their scripted crises the weight of reality. Understanding this dependence is the first step in recognizing the exit. If the architecture of their control is fueled by our emotional reactions, the key to the cage is held by the person standing inside it. Institutions like the Oxford University Press serve as the central hubs for codifying the narratives found in every history textbook. By standardizing theories like out of Africa as definitive truth, these institutions establish the baseline of what we are allowed to believe about our origins. The speaker suggests that these academic theories are recent substitutes for a far more expansive timeline, one involving a vast global Moorish empire that achieved high technological advancement long before the current era's resets. Evidence for this counterhistory is found in artifacts that mainstream archaeology struggles to explain. The intricate goldsmithing of this Scythian pectoral shows phenotypic features, specifically afro-textured hair, and a level of craftsmanship that contradicts the narrative of a primitive cave-dwelling ancestry. This discrepancy points to a broader psychological strategy: historical erasure. When you strip a population of their actual ancestral lineage and substitute it with a domesticated myth, you sever their sense of sovereign identity. This makes the control of the past a primary weapon in the present. If the population is convinced they have only ever been submissive, they will lack the internal framework to imagine themselves as anything else. This disconnection is maintained by fracturing the foundational community unit. By dismantling traditional families and replacing them with state reliance, the architects ensure that communities remain too divided to mount an organized resistance. This cycle relies on a constant psychic harvesting. A staged crisis is broadcast across screens to extract fear from the public. Social media platforms act as sensors, monitoring health data to target individuals during moments of peak stress. The hardware for this surveillance is camouflaged within our natural environment, from towers disguised as pine trees to data centers that prioritize their own cooling systems over local water rations. The grid is built directly into the fabric of the landscape. Modern technology functions as an active harvesting engine. By constantly reflecting our anxieties back to us through a technological loop, the system tricks humanity into mentally manifesting the very destruction it fears. Because this system requires your participation to function, its greatest vulnerability is emotional indifference. When the public withdraws its attention, the entire engine of manufactured panic simply shuts down. This starts with a total disconnection from the broadcast. Deleting social media apps and refusing to participate in the scripted political theater removes the elite's primary means of extracting your energy. This withdrawal of attention must be paired with financial sovereignty. Generating wealth quietly and independently, outside the tracked markets and public narratives of the establishment, deprives the system of the economic lifeblood it needs to sustain its infrastructure. The final step is reclaiming the tools of manifestation. Generative AI allows individuals to bypass the gatekeepers of Hollywood and media, creating new stories and realities where the corrupt systems of the past are rendered obsolete. By saturating the subconscious with these new, sovereign narratives, the mind is reprogrammed to expect a different outcome. As more people redirect their focus toward an independent future, the old system loses the psychic support it needs to exist. The ultimate rebellion is not a fight on the elite's terms, but a total refusal to believe in their theater. By individually manifesting a sovereign reality, the architecture of illusion simply collapses for lack of an audience.